Raider! Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever! You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Velasquez, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down. Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most seamless, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murph back once again for what I hope to be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 167 of Raiders Fan Radio here in Murph's Fan Cave. I appreciate everybody already jumping in the chat and joining us live on youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Ty, ta-da, Raider is already in there. Of course, Ron the Mater Raider holding it down. Stacy Ruff, the Raider Critique. What's up, Critique? I've talked to you for a while. Tampa Raider, Chevy Silver Raiders in there. John Q Raiders in there. Appreciate everybody joining us already. Super Him is in there. Appreciate everyone jumping in. youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Patchy, Tommy Anthony. So they're on our YouTube channel. We're only 87 more subs away from hitting 2,000, and we're going to take one or a few of the next subscriptions that we get on the way to 2,000, and we're going to give away a very a self-referential prize where Uncle Mosh and Swaggo and I are going to sign a Get Made t-shirt amongst a bunch of other Raider gear that we're going to send to you guys. So appreciate everybody joining in there tonight. Fabricator Gills popped in there. Herman Munster's in there. So anyways, appreciate you joining us here for Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 167. And so I'm going to turn it over to the man that adorns the Western Annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk, the one and only Uncle Mosh. Uncle Mosh. Oh, man. Yeah, Uncle Mosh isn't here tonight. Okay, so that's all right. It's all right. We've done this before with Uncle Mosh. He's a stalwart around here. He's the patriarch of the family. He's everybody comes and stays for the Mosh. You come here for the Raider content, but you stay for the Mosh, but that's okay. We've done a show without him before. Let's go down then to the next annex here, the Southern Annex of the Western Annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk, and talk to our buddy Swag Jeff. Oh my gosh. Swaggo! Swag! Oh my gosh. All right, so here's what we got tonight. Swag's on daddy duty, so he's taking care of the kids tonight and being a good dad as he always is. And Mosh is out on business tonight. So you got me. So we got you just got Murph here in Murph's Fan Cave for Raiders Fan Radio. But the best part about that, though, is that two things. Is that number one, I don't normally am a fan of the podcast selfie. We seem to do better when we have a crew to roll with. But that's okay. I'm a firm believer in doing something that intimidates you every single day. Something you might be a little uncertain about, because that's how we grow. But the best thing is, it's not just me, it's you. It's everybody in the chat tonight. We've got an awesome bunch of emails to get to. We've got awesome phone calls to get to tonight. And I think if we got enough time when we get to the live segment, to the voicemail segment, I'm going to try to take a couple of live calls. Maybe we'll see if we can work that in. You can call the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. And let's keep this as interactive as we can, because I don't want to just sit here and talk away. So let's jump in the chat there again. Full Metal Mexican, I see he's in there. Tampa Raider, Raider Ramon. What's up, Ramon? The meme lord. I'm crushing it with the memes here lately. So appreciate everybody joining us in there. All right. So I mentioned the subscriptions. You can support us in that way on YouTube. You can also support our network of shows by subscribing to the audio version of this podcast, which you can find at Murph's Fan Cave on any of your podcast services. What's up, Jeff Barnett? And just search Murph's Fan Cave, MURFS Fan Cave, and you can find it, and you'll get this show, our flagship show, plus RFR Rundown, which Swag and I are going to do tomorrow. Also Tales from the Nation, which Swag and I are going to finally record that latest one tomorrow. You get Mojo's Pod Show, which Mojo is absolutely killing it over there on his channel, and appreciate him being part of the network. Mojo and I are actually going to, we're going to start kicking around some ideas for something he and I are going to work on together. We're going to work on a project together. So that should be a lot of fun. So definitely subscribe to the channel, audio-wise and on the YouTube, so you don't miss any of those. The other way to support us is go to our link at our website. You can go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear, and you can get something there from the Fanatics website. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Just hit our link, and it will take you to Fanatics. And then anything that you buy, we get a portion of that sale. Again, not extra to you. It's just the Fanatics folks kick it back to us, and we're going to take all that money, and we're going to give it all to the Stabler XOXO Foundation at the end of the year. And we've already got quite a few of you that have already hit that link and started buying up stuff. And so we appreciate you for doing that. And just know this, it's going to a great cause. The XOXO Foundation is run by Kendra Stabler, Kenny's daughter, and it's all about the prevention of head injuries from youth sports all the way on through to professional sports. Not only the prevention, but the treatment and such. And so it's a really fantastic organization, and of course carries the legacy of one Kenny Stabler. So please help us support them, and by going to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear. And then buying something there at the Fanatics website. So appreciate you all that have already done that. Again, quite a few of you have already hit it up. I see there's some jersey sales in there and all kinds of stuff. So keep those coming, please. Okay. We always name our episode number after something significant within Raider Nation, and this now is episode number 167. So let's hear from our buddy Swaggo. He called in with his 167.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You have your old Uncle Swag here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook.com at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Swag. He twits now. Oh, wait. This isn't the auditions for the new Raiders Fan Radio contact info read? Never mind. I guess that's not my thing. No, you got Swag Jeff here reporting for Raiders Fan Radio, episode 167. Here at RFR, we take every episode number and relate it to something significant in Raider history. This week, we are taking it to the 2002 season, and we're going to highlight Raiders running back Charlie Garner. In 2002, number 25, Charlie Garner, played in all 16 games and rushed for 7 touchdowns. 16 games, 7 TDs, 167. So there you go. Now back to Murph's Fan Cave for the meat of RFR Live. All right, did I hit the time limit?
Good.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh. He twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us, show at RaidersFanRadio.com, or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Merv's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit?
Good. Hey, so everybody in the chat, appreciate you shouting out Uncle Mosh and Swaggo. Herman Munster's in there, Raider Ramon, Full Metal Mexican, Raider Jeff, one of the 150 of you, I believe. Carl Rogers, Cody Mendoza. What's up, Cody? Super Him, Tampa Raider is in there. Stacy Ruff, a lot of folks in there. Appreciate you joining us. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider just hit in there. What's up, Q-Dog? Appreciate the Capo joining us here. And so, I just realized this. Without having Mosh here, I could talk about Star Wars for 90 minutes. So what'd you guys think of that Clone Wars finale? That was crazy on Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. All right. No, I won't do that to you, though. But what we do around here is we give out respect. We don't do props. We don't do shout-outs. There's nothing wrong with those things. But we like to give a little bit of respect. So I got 3 guys that I'd like to give respect to this week. First off, I participated in this study last week on sports tattoos, and it was put on by Professor Ted, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, Ted Butryn. That's Butryn, and he is a PhD in sports psychology and sports sociology from San Jose State University, so my hometown of San Jose, California, and he's doing this study on people that get sports tattoos. And so I got in touch with him because I have my Raider tattoo here that I'm very proud of. And I got some more tattoos on the way soon. But that was the big piece that I got done a couple of years ago. And anyway, so I got in touch with him and had the interview last week with him and was part of this study. And it was really cool, man. It was really fun and talking about tattoo culture and growing up, mindsets around tattoos and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, how it related to fandom. And then I got into Raider fandom. And we talked quite a bit about our Raider fandom because Professor Ted is a Raider fan. And he's a hardcore Raider fan. The guy's legit. So when we got done with our conversation, because I had bragged on a lot of you. And I told him about how when I put pictures of my new tattoo at the time on our social media, how it blew up. We had so much interaction, and not because of my piece in particular, but because I asked to see yours. And we had so many people sending us pictures of their own tattoos. And Raider Ramon's in the chat tonight. Ramon's got the best because he's got the freaking Raider shield, and then he's got Made Men tattooed underneath there. He's got, let alone a sports tattoo, he's got a podcast about sports tattoo on there. So anyways, really super cool stuff talking to Ted. And he asked if I would be willing to share the information that he had thought about, maybe even doing a study of a microcosm of Raiders fans and just Raiders tattoos. Cause that's almost its whole separate culture from just sports tattoos. So I told him I would. It's all out there on our socials. But for those of you, if you got a pen handy, or as Uncle Mosh says, if you got a knife, carve it into your dashboard. Professor Ted's email address is this: Theodore, THEODORE .Butryn, BUTRYN. That's THEODORE .BUTRYN at sjsu.edu. So hit up Professor Ted. Tell him that you heard it here on Murph's Fan Cave on Raiders Fan Radio, and tell him that you want to talk to him about your Raider tattoo. Or if you have another sports tattoo, you can be part of that as well. But especially you Raider fans, get in touch with Professor Ted and talk to the guy. He's a great guy. It takes about 10, 15 minutes, and I'm really interested to see how this thing kind of plays out, what the findings are of this. And when we get to the end of it, we're going to have Professor Ted on the show, and we're going to talk to him about his findings, and it should be fascinating. So anyways, much respect to him and to that project. All right, next up, someone you hadn't heard from in a while here on the Murph's Fan Cave Network, our buddy Mikey. I mentioned the roster of shows that we have here on Murph's Fan Cave, and one of them is Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and that show's kind of been spotty at best in terms of scheduling and us getting him in here lately. And so, but Mikey was kind enough. He's a good dude. Mikey and I know each other behind the scenes pretty well, and we're all kind of dealing with the weirdness of this whole quarantine crap and being on, isolated. And we're going to play a thing on the rundown tomorrow, but Trey Wingo had a really beautiful statement on it today about us missing sports and not having sports to fall back to, and how sports is such a healing thing for us, like it was around 9/11. And for us not even being able to get into that, it's been a challenge. So anyways, so that's, Mikey's been dealing with a lot of that like the rest of us have. And anyways, he was kind enough. He wanted to shoot a message out to, not only us here at the RFR crew, but those of you in the listening audience.
What's going on, everybody out there? Raiders Fan Radio, also the Murph's Fan Cave, hanging out, listening to the podcast. I just wanted to say hello, give a big shout out to my family that's dealing with the quarantine And I wanted to let everybody know that's a big fan of not only my channel, but Murph's channel, that there will be a Mondays with Mikey and Murph very soon. Mikey has some brain issues. Mikey gets depressed, has anxiety, has fears, and Mikey sleeps a lot and eats chili dogs and just disappears. That's what Mikey does. Right now, Mikey's trying to up his game. Look at how I'm still talking about myself in the third person. I'm just trying to, get my mental right, get my brain on point during this quarantine, and trying to find some passion, some creativity in the days to come. But enough about me. I just wanted to say what's up to Uncle Mosh, making everybody laugh. You are one funny dude, and I love it, except when you make fun of me. But you know what? The truth is, parody is a form of flattery. So that means when you parody me, that means you love me. I love you, Mosh. Keep staying safe, taking care of those kids that you teach, and thank you for your service. Also, let's talk about the newest member. They call him Swaggy Jeff. I haven't met you. You're cool AF, but I don't know why you got the nickname Swaggy Jeff. I don't see any swag on you. You might want to talk to Henry Ruggs
Shots
about
fired.
swag. He's got a lot of swag. So do these young Raiders that are out there. They're going to build a trash-talking team full of swag and stardom. It's going to be fun. But let's give it up for Swaggy Jeff, content moderator, representing Raider Nation to the fullest. Then I just want to give real quick props to my main man, Murph, always being there for me in times of need.
Got you, brother.
Nothing but kindness, kind words, love in your heart, always trying to make me feel better and understanding when I'm not around for everybody and not able to do shows and stuff like that due to my issues, nobody else's but mine. Thank you very much, Murph. You put on a fantastic podcast, and everybody, just give this man some love. Please like the video. Please share it. Raiders Fan Radio and Murph's Fan Cave has been around for a long while representing Raider Nation, and they've been doing a fantastic job bringing the fun, the laughter, not only the hot takes, because they're not really about that. They're about the Raider Nation community, the legacy, and the actual football on the field. And I just wanted to take pleasure in saying I love Raiders Fan Radio, and you guys deserve to have way more than 1.9 thousand subscribers.
Subscribe! Hit the button!
So everybody hit that like button. Let's get Murph over 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Smash
they do
the
very
bell!
Well in podcast land, but I'm very proud to have you on YouTube, which is the Raider platform of choice. So it's not called YouTube, it's called RaiderTube, because there's so many amazing Raider video makers out there doing content. And some of them are kind of new, and they got a lot more subscribers than Murph does, when Murph and the Raiders Fan Radio and the Fan Cave deserve more. So please support Murph. Get him some subscribers. 2K Murph. 2K Murph.
There you go, Mikey.
I love you guys. Thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of the show. And can I be an honorary made man, please? Can I get that capo audio, that capo speech? Can Mikey Raider be an honorary made man? That's all I want in life, Murph, beyond another year of Mondays with Mikey and Murph. I love you all. I'll see you all as soon as possible. And stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the show. Mikey Raider, quarantine chili dogs, ahead.
Appreciate you, Mikey. Thanks for jumping in here and saying hi to us and the crew. And that's up to Mosh, man, whether you become an honorary made man or not. I don't know. But I do know Mikey did buy a Get Made shirt, though. So I know he rocks that thing proudly. So, yeah, in the chat, everybody's saying you got to call back 2 more times, Mikey, and then you can become a made man. Ain't that the truth, man? We all following the same rule book here. Okay, I got one more a bit of respect to give. This one, I was just going to feature it in the Sea of Fans calls, but I wanted to put it to the top of the show because it hits something that's just real near and dear to my heart. And we're going to hear from our buddy Eye Patch here in a second. I don't know if Eye Patch is in the chat tonight. If he is, then definitely what's up, Eye Patch. We got to meet Eye Patch last year at the draft in Nashville. Super cool guy, huge supporter of our shows here. And He lost his uncle, sadly, and his uncle, I hope it's okay that I share his name. We're friends on Facebook also. And, his uncle's name is Lewis. And I have an Uncle Lewis as well, but we call him Louie. So I don't know if this is Uncle Louie or Uncle Lewis, but one way or the other, he goes into, and I'm not going to sell the lead on his phone call here, but he talks about what an influence his uncle was, especially when it comes to the world of sports. And that is what my uncles, man, all this Raider fandom was all completely formed by them and my dad, of course. But it really hit home. And so anyways, I want to give respect to Eye Patch, and I want to give respect to his Uncle Louie, and his family. And sadly, he lost him this past week. And so anyways, let's go and hear from our buddy Eye Patch.
Murph, Mosh, Swaggy J, Capo, Nation, Eye Patch calling in. It's been a while. Just calling in, a little sad note. Not my usual ranting and raving or going over the draft. It's going to be more like an Historian Steve type of call. Back in 1969 at the old Shea Stadium, my uncle took me to a game. It was the Jets and the Raiders. Everybody was going there to see this Joe Willie Namath put on an air show. And the Raiders came rolling into town. I was about 8 years old. And there was an air show, okay, but it was a cat named Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber, who put on the show. Threw for over 300 and something yards. Back then, football was a little different. That was a big game. We had a dude named Warren Wells. He caught for over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another cat named Freddie Biletnikoff got about 100 yards, and Raiders ended up winning 27-14. And that was when I became a Raider fan. Everybody was there at Shea looking for Joe Willie and the Jets, and the Raiders came in and blew the doors off, 27-14. And that was it. That's when it all started. I'm saying all of this because my uncle, who took me to my first World Series game, my first boxing match at Madison Square Garden with Durand and Moore, he took me to my first basketball game, the Nets and the Sixers. It reminds me of you and Mosh, pretty close. He did everything with me, and he passed away on the 4th, on Monday, and he'll be sorely missed. He's the one that turned me into a Raider fan, and I'm going to miss him, And just for everybody out there, I want everybody to be safe and really think about taking care of each other, because this coronavirus got them, and, it's nothing to play with, man. So everybody, give your loved ones an extra hug, or just tell them that you love them, man, and keep safe, everyone. Raider Nation. Peace out.
All right. Much respect to our friend Eye Patch there, and to your uncle. And again, condolences to the family, and rest in peace for sure to your uncle.
Hey, Raider Nation, I just want to say hello. This is Pastor Mondo of NationMinistry.net. You're listening to Raider Fan Radio with Uncle Marsh and my brother, Murph. Just win, baby.
All right, so another feature we do every week here in Raiders Fan Radio is we do a tweet of the week, where we head out to social media and we see what's going on in the Twitterverse, where it can be volatile at best around there. But we always find something fun, and there was some really cool Twitter exchanges that went on this week. There was we had a choice of a few different ones. I don't know if you guys saw Bray Wyatt, the wrestler. He is apparently a Raider fan. We didn't know that, but he is a Raider fan, and he made it known that he was a Raider fan because Derek Carr, our quarterback, put out a tweet listing his 5 favorite all-time wrestlers, and Bray Wyatt was not one of them. So Bray Wyatt responded with his top 5 all-time Raider quarterbacks, and it was like Kenny Stabler, Jim Plunkett, Darryl LaMonica, Rich Gannon, and Jamarcus Russell. And then he tagged Derek in it. And so Derek was like, at first almost took offense to it, but then he was like, oh, you mean you're a Raider fan? Well, never mind. You're automatically at the top of my list then. And so I thought that was pretty cool. That was a fun exchange with those two guys. But then I saw this one jump in a little bit later in the week, and I'm like, okay, this is it. We got to feature this. In fact, this was just really a lot of it yesterday. So, we're big fans of Max Crosby around here. Max, we like the name Max, big fans. So, Max Crosby put out a tweet, and he tagged Phil Villapiano's daughter, Andrea, in it. And he said, my man, Villapiano, is one bad SOB. And then he wrote legend. And he had a video in there of Phil from America's Game talking famously about how they used to mold casts to their arms. And so let's play the audio of that real quick so you know what I'm talking about.
We had a guy named George Anderson who was our trainer, and he was like in the CIA or something. They would have experts in demolition or something. George was an expert in pads, probably most of them illegal. George added to my gloves. What he did was he took the stuff from the, like you make casts out, he put it in the hot water, and then he molded it for me. What I essentially had was 2 casts. So when I hit somebody, boom, that was my first shot, right to their eye. I could take them down if I hit them just perfect. I used to like to call it the rake and the can opener. When you got them and you had them in the throat, you drew like that, and you could pop the helmet off. That would be the can opener. One time, O.J. Simpson, they hit him just perfect. They showed this tackle I made for the whole year. Juice's helmet came off, and helmet went flying, and he dropped to his knees and went like this.
All right, so there you go. So there's Villapiano talking about the rake and can opener, where he would come across guys as like basically across their throat, and then he would rip his forearm up and try to pop their helmet off. It was awesome. So anyway, so Max was all about that, and so he tweets Andrea, and she says, "I'm gonna hit my dad up and let him know what you had to say," because Phil, like Uncle Mosh, doesn't twit, although Mosh does twit. So there you go. But Phil is not a social media guy, so he sent his daughter Andrea back a message, and she put it out on Twitter, and it said, "Mad Max, this is from Phil. I'm happy you commented, and I'm glad you enjoy that style of play. You are on your way. You had a breakthrough season. Follow up with a rake and can opener of your own creation." And so that was absolutely so cool. And Mad Max Crosby, the Condor, responded one more time, and he said, "Absolutely, the best is yet to come." And so I just love this. Anybody that listens to our show for any length of time, we're all about the dang, the history and the legacy of the Raiders. I got my Villapiano autographed, picture right here next to me. We love this team and the legacy of it and the mystique of it. And when that connects with the modern player, to me, there's nothing better. And I think that's one of the coolest things about the Raiders, the way they do their alumni day and all those different things. It's just really cool to see that past and that legacy connect up with modern day players. And so anyways, so one last thing about that though, before we move on from it, and I wish Mosh was here because for those of you that don't know, back in February of 2018, we had Phil on the show. Phil came on Raiders Fan Radio. It was right before the Super Bowl, and we had like a 45-minute long interview with him. It was myself and my cousin Sonny at the time, and it was so cool. It was such a great interview with him, and and you'll hear me say this in the interview. I referenced, and you hear me reference it all the time, and so does Mosh, about his hatred for the Steelers and why he hates the Steelers. Well, we brought that up, and we talked to Phil about that. So I'm going to play you one more clip, and this goes back to our interview with Phil Villapiano back in February of 18. If you're interested, it's episode number 65. So 102 episodes of RFR ago, we talked to Phil.
2 years in a row, you lost to the Steelers. We all know about the Chiefs, how much we hate them, but how big of a rival was the Steelers in the 70s for the Raiders? And do you kind of still look at the Steelers with a little bit of, vitriol?
Well, it was a beautiful rivalry, and it came out of the blue.
Here we were, when I first went to the Raiders, you had to hate the Chiefs, number one. You had to hate the Broncos, number two. You had to hate the Chargers, number three. And then all of a sudden, you hate the Dolphins, number four. And then all of a sudden, this Pittsburgh team comes around. And I think they kind of liked to play like the Raiders, or they tried to play like the Raiders. And I saw that they were pretty nasty, and it's a very good defense.
good old Franco Harris, Rocky Pryor, Terry Bradshaw, Swan and Stallworth and Frankie Lewis. And, they had great players everywhere, and they played rough football. So all of a sudden it was kind of like, hey, man, you guys are starting to act like us. We need to kick your little asses. And then it started, and it got nasty, and it got nasty quick. And it was just fun to play those guys. And then they ended up, winning their division. We ended up winning ours. So it was inevitable. Every year we were going to end up against the Steelers, and we did. And we had some, we played some horrible playoff games against those guys. We just, it would be like, like Tennessee Titans going into New England this year, and they just go in and lay an egg, in the playoff game. And we didn't play our best football, and for some reason, in that championship game 2 years in a row to the Steelers. And then we finally got them. Against the Steelers, against the Chiefs. Man, those are the games I like to play in.
We have another uncle. We call him Uncle Mosh on our show, and he grew up in the Bay Area in the 70s as a Raider fan as well. And his most hated team out of all the teams is the Pittsburgh Steelers because of that rivalry back then. And, when history looks back on those teams, the Raiders, I feel, are kind of unfairly categorized just because of the physicality that you all played. But you touched on something about the Steelers, that they played the same way as well, but nobody ever throws out any derogatory terms about the Steelers defense. It's always about the Raiders defense. Does that bug you? Does that bug you as the player?
Well, no, and it shouldn't bug you, man. That's a compliment. It's great when people talk about how nasty we were and how we played the game, and we did it. And I'm telling you, we won a lot of games because our reputation, not because we played so well that day, but we going in teams. Sometimes the teams would just quit. They didn't even want to play us, and that was good. We get the afternoon off, just get away and get out of there. And no, we loved that. And Al Davis loved the mystique, the nastiness. John Madden loved the nastiness. We as players loved the nastiness, and we also wore black, and we're the only one in the league wearing black at the time. And that it all worked together. It worked for us, and we loved it. So, no nation. I want the Raider Nation to know when they talk about us being nasty, that's a compliment.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
Linebacker, number 41, Phil Villapiano. This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, appreciate you, Phil, and we're efforting to get Phil back on here. Once again, Raiders Fan Radio, do a little RFR conversation with him. It's been a minute since we caught up. It's the 40-year anniversary since Phil played his last game with the Silver and Black before going on and finishing out his career with the Buffalo Bills, which is a really funny story if you've ever heard Phil tell that story about how Al Davis called him up and asked him about Bob Chandler. And he said, "What do you know about this Bob Chandler?" And Phil said, "Well, I hear he's a pretty good wide receiver." And Al said, "Well, good, because we just traded for him. We traded you for him." And so, anyways, he tells it much better than I do. It's a very funny story, though. And so we'll definitely effort to get Phil back on here on Raiders Fan Radio. All right, next up, let's get into some current stuff. Let's not live in the past entirely. Let's get into some current Raider news. And one of the things I like to do is when we draft new players, unless you're just a complete draft junkie and the entirety of the hundreds and hundreds of players that are being considered for draft purposes, it's hard to get to know these guys before it. But then after they get assigned to their teams, then people, they start to come out and they comment on those players. And so it helps us as Raider Nation get familiar with these guys, you know what I mean, quicker. And so it's really cool to hear from the people that know them best, either from the folks that drafted them or, from sometimes family members or other, teammates. And in this case, we're going to hit kind of all over the place, and we're going to start off with a coach. So the first player I want to feature is Brian Edwards, the pick that I'm frankly most excited about, because I'm excited about his style of play at wide receiver and the way that he's able to attack the football. And you'll hear his coach, Will Muschamp here at South Carolina, kind of go on about his ability to go up and attack the football, and to where it's not even like a 50-50 ball. It's more like a 70-30 ball when you're throwing to Edwards.
Brian's as good a young man and as clean a draft pick as I've ever been around as far as his character is concerned. He comes from a great family, but a really good football player. Got a great competitive edge about him. He's a self-starter, a guy that you're not going to have to worry about, as far as motivation and those things are concerned. But very intelligent, can play multiple positions, got a huge catch radius down the field, and he's got really good vertical speed. He's also going to bring a lot to the organization as far as special teams is concerned as well. And he's leading South Carolina statistically as the best receiver to ever play here. And there's been some great ones, Sterling Sharp, Alshon Jeffrey, that have played here at South Carolina, Robert Brooks, who Coach Gruden has coached as well. First impression, just he's going to light up the room with a smile. He doesn't say much. He's a worker. He's a big physical guy. He's a difficult matchup on smaller corners, and certainly inside on safeties. He's a mismatch type of guy. So because of his physicality, his length, his athleticism, it's not a 50-50 ball with Brian Edwards. It's more of an 80-20 ball when he's going up for the football.
Heck, I sold him short. It's an 80-20 ball. And, I've said it now a few times, and I really feel convicted in it, that Derek Carr misses Michael Crabtree much more than he misses Amari Cooper. And I think a player like Edwards, who is able to high point and attack the football and basically just bully people out of the way and go up and get it. Man, Derek needs that, because he's got a lot of faith. Derek's got a lot of trust in his pass catchers, and he puts a lot of passes up there for grabs. And I think, unfortunately, that's kind of cost him. That the interception lands on him, right? When you have a receiver that drops the ball or tips the ball or just flat out doesn't catch it, the stat ends up landing on Derek's shoulders. And I think so. There are times where Derek gets unfairly saddled with the failure of the play, because he was trusting that guy. Now, maybe he shouldn't be trusting those guys to go up and make plays, but he does. And they weren't able to produce for him, like Michael Crabtree did, because how many times did we see Michael Crabtree make amazing plays, back of the end zone in Baltimore, front of the end zone at the Oakland Coliseum against KC. You know what I mean? The 2-point conversion against the Saints. Like, we saw Michael Crabtree go up and catch winning passes pretty frequently, considering his time with the team. So I think that Derek definitely misses that much more than he misses somebody like Cooper, who can just get open all the time and then be questionable whether he's going to catch it or not. So I think Edwards is an amazing fit there. I'm really fired up about the way that our wide receiving core has shaked out. Q-Dog later on is going to talk about the draft grades. And, there's a lot of people that have given the Raiders questionable draft grades. And first off, draft grades are kind of stupid, because you can see me in 3 years after these guys, mature a little bit into their careers in the National Football League. But aside from that, this whole idea that, what is your opinion means as the writer, not you. I'm talking about the proverbial you, but as a writer or an analyst or whatever, you're basing it on what? Because Mayock and Gruden are drafting on needs, right? They're drafting on guys that are going to fit the system, complement their quarterback. That may not line up exactly what you, Mr. Analyst, think that the pick necessarily needed to be in that moment, but you're not running the football team. And I trust the guys that are running the football team. And I think that as a fan, even as much as I know nothing, looking at it from the outside in, Edwards fits our offense. Edwards fits our quarterback. Edwards fits a lot of things for the Raiders, and I think that we're going to see a lot of good out of that young man. And again, I'm kind of rhapsodizing about this because it's my favorite pick, but I'm even more excited about him than Ruggs. And I know that Ruggs is the flashier pick. He's going to be the explosive guy. He's the home run hitter. But I think in terms of red zone threat and whatnot, I think we're going to see a lot out of Brian Edwards. So anyway, so speaking of Henry Ruggs, so he was obviously the first wide receiver off the board, the Raiders pick at 12, and rightfully, we are all fired up about this, because this was, as Raider fans, we are all Al Davis disciples, and this just fits right in with the legacy of the Raiders when it comes to the draft. And let's hear from the man that drafted him.
I know a voice from above whispered, "Henry Ruggs, fast." I'm just saying.
Is there a question here, Pat?
No, it's a statement. We all felt like this was, and John, to me, had that Raider thing about it, and which is all about Al. And then when you take the fastest receiver in the draft, I think what would Al do might have been the question in the room, because we know that Al would have loved Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And, Al's son, Mark, loved him, so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And here's where I was. I mean, 100% full disclosure, I loved all three of those, quote, top three wideouts. And they were very distinct and different type wide receivers. And I feel very strongly in John Gruden and our coaching staff would have gotten the best out of any of them. I was very surprised that when we got on the clock at 12, all three were available. We kind of sweated out whether or not Ruggs was going to get there. But at the end of the day, John felt strongly, and I agreed with him, that we needed a different element, especially in our division. When you're playing Kansas City twice a year, and you saw what Denver did and what the Chargers did, when you're in our division, speed rules. And the whole league is chasing the Kansas City Chiefs right now. And we just felt like getting the guy that runs 4.25 changes us. And the less obvious part of that is, Darren Waller had 90 catches last year, and Josh Jacobs ran for 1,300 yards as a rookie. And they did it without any real vertical help or stretch from the wide receiver position. And this year, we feel like it's going to be a different conversation. And Ruggs is going to have his own production. You can talk about vertical routes, deep overs. You can talk about manufactured touches with jet sweeps and bubble screens. He'll have his own production, but his worth to the offense goes beyond that. It's going to open things up for Waller. It's going to open things up for Tyrell Williams, for Byron Edwards, for Lynn Bowden, and especially, we think, for Josh Jacobs.
I love that. So especially for Josh Jacobs, because when you have a guy that presents that kind of speed and explosion on the outside, that's going to keep defenses from cheating inward. And when you get that, you get opportunities for Josh Jacobs. Absolutely. And I thought it was really interesting. Last week on the show, we had Jeff Murphy. Shout out Jeff and Jeff Nation and Domenico's Deli. Appreciate Jeff joining us live in the Fan Cave last week. And he brought up something really interesting, because at first, when you hear Ruggs, you think, okay, over-the-top explosion. You think downfield, the 9 route, straight line, outrun everybody, Tyreek Hill streaking down the sideline. You think that kind of explosion. But then it was brought up afterwards that, it's not just that. There's the underneath portion of it. There's the fact that he could catch a slant, turn up field, split a couple safeties, and boom, off to the races, right? So there was kind of both those things. Well, then Jeff came in here last week, and he was like, yeah, but it's kind of both. It's the idea that, he can do that underneath and work quickly and all those slants and all that kind of stuff. But just a mere threat of his speed and his over-the-top ability to be able to stretch out the defense, that helps who? Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, even in the passing game. It helps those guys work underneath. And I think this is really interesting, the dynamic that's starting to evolve with this offense, that it's like, we're really versatile. Like, I feel like for the first time in a long time, we have a lot of guys that do a lot of different things. And I think that's what's so unique about this. And that's where, again, some analyst's stupid draft grade doesn't consider context, much like stats don't consider context, right? What's the context of the draft? The context is that they drafted players to fill not just needs, but that brought and all bringing different skill sets. Like when you look at, okay, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, and Tyrell Williams. You have three, or even, let's not even use Williams. Let's use Brian Edwards. Let's use Ruggs, Edwards, and Hunter Renfrow. You have three distinctly different skill sets between those three guys. They all do wide receiver. They all play the same position, and all three of them play it completely different from one another. Like that versatility that's now going to be added to the team, that's legit, man. Like that, if that doesn't get you fired up as a fan, like I don't know what will. And I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to be critical of Derek, but that whole notion of like, well, he doesn't have anybody to throw to. Well, okay. Not anymore. Like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? And now, so speaking of that, here's another guy. Here's another guy in terms of versatility. This guy's got versatility. So I'd mentioned those three different skill sets. Heck, here's a guy that's got all three of those skill sets all wrapped up in the same guy. And I'm talking about Bowden, not Bowden, It's Bowden, B-O-H. Think of it like that, not B-O-W. And Lynn Bowden out of the University of Kentucky, shout out to Capo. He called this player from a mile away, being vaguely familiar with Kentucky football this year. I was not aware of this young man, but he absolutely has proven to be the Swiss Army knife of this draft. People are already comparing him to folks like players like Taysom Hill or like Cordell Stewart once upon a time, right? Like that kind of just super versatile player. You could put him in anywhere. You never know what he's going to do when he's in the game. And so anyway, so I'm fired up about Bowden as well. And so is Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football.
I'm very excited to see Lynn Bowden Jr., running back, kick returner, guy who can just make plays. Let me show you. Let me take you back to high school. Warren G. Harding High School in Ohio, where he's playing quarterback. Look at the tape on Bowden Jr. All the way back in the end zone. This is going to be a disastrous, but he escapes the goal line. Oh, look at this. He's getting all the way back. It'll be a minimal loss. Hold on a second. He might actually get to the line of scrimmage. What a play. Are you telling me he's going to gain yards on this? Wait a second. Wait, he's going to block. He's going to go 108 yards through the Friday night lights of Ohio. Lynn Bowden Jr. is going from 8 yards deep in the end zone to Las Vegas, Nevada, my friends. This is the kind of improvisation and playmaking that Mike Mayock and Gruden are going to put to use. Ruggs, Bowden Jr., who knows? Maybe Mariota. I want to see this dude out of the SEC looking by. He's going about 3 miles on a Friday night. Hell of a play. See you in Vegas.
I love it, man. You know, I love to hear KB get fired up about players, and I think Bowden, man, absolutely, he's going to be a guy that's, you know, I see in the chat here, and let me shout him out to a lot of folks in there. Raider Ramon is in there, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Fierce Raider, Raider Flash, Sir Raider, Nick Z, Adam Hill. Sorry, Adam, Swag Jeff is not here to not acknowledge you, so I will. What's up, Adam Hill? Stacy Ruff, it is what it is. Raider Born, Rico, Herman Munster, Watts Raider, Jeff Murphy. I just talked about you, Jeff. What's up, Jeff from Domenico's in there. Chevy Silver Raider. Who else is in there? Fierce Raider. Appreciate all of you joining us live here at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. So anyway, so in the chat, they're talking about that the Raiders drafted a bunch of dogs. And yes, like absolutely. Like there's not one of these guys that isn't a dog. I see the name Tanner Muse getting thrown around in there. These guys are just freaking, man, I love it. I love the way that this team offensively and defensively, I haven't even brought up Amik Robertson yet. Like, we're going to get after it, man. We're going to get after teams this year. Now, I don't know how that's going to translate in terms of wins or losses, but in terms of dynamic play and versatility, as I mentioned, and like just getting after people, like I feel like we're finally built a team that's just going to get after people. And look, Mayock said it. We're chasing the Chiefs. The whole league is chasing the Chiefs. That's what we got to do, man. We got to get after the dang Chiefs. We're going to play them twice a year, probably 3 times because we're going to meet them in the playoffs, and hopefully we'll take care of business. But I think we're building a team. May not be this year right away, but we're definitely building a team that's going to be able to contend with the Chiefs. And so, all right, I mentioned the playoffs, and let's hear from one more analyst that's kind of referring to what the Raiders have done this offseason. He is Steve Mariucci. They call him Mooch, and Mooch thinks that the Raiders are going to make the playoffs.
Las Vegas Raiders, 7-9 last year. But you know what? I think they benefited from the Khalil Mack trade. All right. They have continuity in the.
Thank you. Not just like me and those of us here in the fan cave, but you in the listening audience. We've been saying that from day one, that anybody that hated on the Raiders for trading Khalil Mack, rethink it. And I hope certainly by this point you're rethinking it, because we absolutely won that trade.
Coaching staff and systems, and they're ready to go. It's going to be really exciting. That fan base is going to be crazy over there. It's a fresh start for the Raiders. I expect them to have a pretty darn good season and probably jump into that wild card spot. I don't think they're going to leapfrog Kansas City because the Chiefs are good in that division, but I think a wild card. All the free agents, they got 3 guys from Dallas, you know, Jeff Heath and Malik Collins and Jason Witten and Corey Littleton from the Rams and Nelson Aguilar. They got some guys, and then speedball Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett. I think the Raiders are going to make a push for the playoffs next year.
Come on, Mooch. I love it, man. We're on it. We're on it, Raider Nation. I'm telling you, we're coming back, man. This feels good. This is not, look, every year I'd say, well, the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, right? Or the Raiders are going to even win the Super Bowl. And I know you do too. But it really feels like, what's up, Michelle Sweat? See Michelle in there. Tyda, Raider, Jeff Barnett, Raider Ramon. Appreciate you all. Yeah, man, I feel like this year, like, I don't know. Maybe I say that every year too, that no, this year I really mean it. But like, I don't know. It's just something. I'm excited. And I guess that's what it's all about, is let's getting excited for our team this year, man. This is going to be a fun season. All right. So, hey, real quick, before I hit the Sea of Fans button.
America.
Oh, yeah.
America, go to the YouTube right now.
Go to the YouTube and subscribe. But
just press the damn button, nerd.
So before I press the damn button, just know this. I'm going to try to take, we got time, so we're not at an hour yet. So I'm going to try to take some calls live when we get to the voicemails. Now, I've got 3 emails to read first, but for those of you that are thinking about it, look, don't be nervous, man. I'm here by myself. It'll just be you and me talking, okay? And only a few thousand people listening to you, but just you and me talking, I promise. So it's 909-345-3346. Don't call yet, because it'll just start beeping while I'm trying to read emails. But remember that number, 909-345-3346, and let's try to get a live call here, or a couple of them even. Let's make some time, because I want to hear from you all. More of you and less of me is a good thing. Let's keep this thing interactive, and appreciate everybody hanging out with us and hanging out with me here tonight in Murph's Fan Cave. All right, so I'm going to hit the See If Fans button, and then we will get to some emails.
He is baiting, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied. He throws. It is.
Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider in the chat, he says Bernie is a Dolphins fan.
It's a weird deal going on there. I don't know what's happening.
All right, so if you want to email the show, you can email us anytime at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. That's show@RaidersFanRadio.com. And then, as I mentioned, you can call us. We're going to take a live one in a second. In the meantime, throughout the course of the week, you can call us at 909-345-3346. Now, hey, when you call, remember, we're live. Don't make me have to use the bleep button. Like, I'll have to go back and edit all this and all that for the podcast. Like, don't make me do all that. So keep it clean when you call in, okay? All right, so here we go. First one. Hi out there, Raiderland. It's Big Mike. First of all, hi to the loyal RFR listeners and all the YouTubers. Much respect to my man Swag, Jeff, Uncle Mosh, and of course, Murph. I wanted to tell you that I felt the draft was pretty clean, all in all, and I think that I would give it a mid-level B. All right, Mike, well, you know how we feel about draft grades, man. Let's give it an A until it proves otherwise. I would say B+. Thanks. But something just felt like it was missing. Maybe it's the fact we didn't trade down out of 19. I don't know. That's fair. But I don't know. Here's the thing. And I'm gonna read these different than Mosh and Swag do. I'm just gonna stop as I read along and just give you my thoughts. Mayock came out and said they didn't have a viable partner to trade down out of 19. He was open to it. Then he didn't get anybody to participate with anything that would be fair. So they went ahead and pulled the trigger on Arnett. He was open to trading down and taking Arnett later on in the round, but there was nobody that had a good offer for them. So they went ahead and stuck with it. Okay. So that's that. If that helps answer your question there. I do know not every pitched ball is a home run, but I do think we hit a double, and I'll take that any day of the week. Please tell me your draft grades. I'm going to give them an A until they give me a reason to. It's kind of like innocent until proven guilty, right? Like, I'm going to assume it was the best draft possible for the Raiders until it proves otherwise. We'll see. Take care, everyone. Proud made man and 1 1/8 time Sizzler Award winner. At least I think I got some credit for being part of that call in on the Roundtable show. Let me know what the official record shows so I can be as accurate as possible while bragging to my friends about my latest accomplishments. Always a pleasure, and have a great show. Big Mike. Appreciate Big Mike. And, I'm not sure what the score. I'm not sure how to break that down. That's up to Paul. Paul is the one that is the Sizzler scorekeeper. I would say this to keep it simple. Instead of awarding fractions of Sizzlers, let's just award a Sizzler to everybody that participated on the call. Let's just give everybody just one notch in the belt for that one, I would say. That would be the best way to do it. And so I appreciate you, Big Mike. Appreciate you as a newly crowned made man here on Raiders Fan Radio. All right, next up, we're going to hear from our buddy Daniel. Dear RFR family, first off, I want to apologize for Vinny as my email was a mouthful and it wasn't fair that he was messing up. So, Vinny, I'm sorry. I felt so bad for you having to deal with your dad and your uncle harping on you. Listen, Vinny, thank you, Daniel. That's very kind of you. But Vinny was good, man. He had an absolute blast. So it was funny afterwards, after we got done recording that show last week, for those of you that missed it, my son Vinny, my youngest, 14 years old, just recently 14, came over and read an email, and he was stumbling over some of the words, and me and Mosh were assaulting him basically on YouTube. It was really funny. And so we got, so after the show, we were watching back. We were watching to see how he did. I was showing him on the thing. And he goes, oh my gosh, I was crying. And I go, oh no. I go, oh son, my heart. I'm like, you were crying? He goes, yeah, Dad, from laughing. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, no, it was way fun, Daniel. So we appreciate you. No need to apologize, but thank you for being willing to do so. Now to my football, my twin and I were on Mojo's Pod Show, episode number 25. I listened to that last night. Great job, Mojo, as always on the Pod Show, and great job from the Mangus twins, man. You guys lit it up over there. It was so much fun, and my brother and I want to be on RFR, so hopefully in 2022 we can get that chance because all my friends said both of us have the face and voice for radio. Same with me, man. I got a face for radio, and I ended up on a YouTube broadcast. I'm so hyped for the season. We're building a team that is making Andy Reid lose at least 15 pounds because he's sweating so much. Okay, I got to do that. Where's the... okay, here you go. So let me read that again, then I'm going to hit the right sound button. All right. I'm so hyped for the season. We are building a team that is making Andy Reid lose at least 15 pounds because he's sweating so much.
Fact of the week.
Says he's fat.
Who's fat?
KC, you have an AFC West crown that belongs to us. Come on. This team is built to take the crown from the Chiefs. Let's go. Yours truly, Daniel Mangus, Fremont, California, proud made man, diehard Raiders fan going on 14 years. One nation, Raider Nation. Right on. Absolutely. Good job, buddy. All right, here we go. One more. This is this Paul? Oh man, this is Paul. So you know what that means.
Paul. 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 Paul.
Paul.
Paul.
Paul.
Paul. Paul.
Paul.
Paul. Paul.
Paul.
Paul. Claude. Claude. Claude.
Paul.
Paul. Paul. Paul. Paul. Paul.
Paul. Your name Paul?
Hello? Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I
met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi. I'm Paul.
Good evening, guys. Hope everyone is safe and well. A quieter week this week, or so I thought. I started off my week in usual style. A bit of Pink Floyd, a bit of Zeppelin. Oh, man, right on. A lot of Steely Dan to ease into another week of lockdown without any obvious silver and black stresses and anxieties. So imagine my surprise when I started checking out the various Raider content sites, blogs, and social media to find the Raiders being linked in one article with another possible trade for Aaron Rodgers. Woo! We're going to talk about this tomorrow on the rundown. Now, I'm with Murph in regards to Rodgers. I've always rated him highly, and he's always been a player I'd like to see in silver and black. And I'm not going to lie and say I didn't do a double take when I saw the article, but come on, guys. For heaven's sake, find a new bone to chew. There are many things that could happen before the first snap at Allegiant Stadium, and whenever that does happen, one thing for sure, DC will be under center. After the drama and excitement of draft day, we had a few days where most of Raider Nation seemed pleased and excited going forward. You can never please everybody, though, and one or two got overexcited and thought there should have been bigger names selected. I know, 19, that threw me a little bit. Just remember, folks, it's all about picking the right type of players with the right attitude for where we want to be. To quote somebody wiser than me, it's not about the name on the back of the shirt. It's all about the shield. Right on, brother. We also picked up several undrafted free agents, and as I write this, we've signed 4 of them, including one intriguing story in Javin White, who was born in Oakland and went to college at UNLV. I think that's what they call destiny. Hopefully we can find some talent in the group. We're a few hours away from finding out our full schedule for the season. That is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. It's tomorrow, Thursday. Don't trust the leaks because I saw today the NFL has not released it to even any of the teams, so the leaks are fake. Don't trust them. We'll find out tomorrow. Full season for the season, our first game in our new home. My money is the first Thursday night game being a home fixture against Kerman and the Ronald McDonald's. It'll be nice to see them on their asses opening night. Get the RFR wrap ready, Murph. Hey, glad to. I made a deal on Mondays with Mikey and Murph with our buddy Pirate 1975. He made me a challenge, and he said, if we ever beat the Chiefs, you need to rap on the show. And I said, deal, and I will. And you know me, I'm not one to spit bars, as the kids say, but I'll do it if we win the Chiefs because it will be worth it. Finally, 3 other questions to be asked. Should we be in the market for Logan Ryan? All right, we'll take these one at a time. Swaggo and I talked about Logan Ryan extensively the other night. The reason being is that, he played down the road here from where we live now and outside of Nashville, played for the Titans. Dude's looking for like $10 million a year, and he's 30 whatever years old, or like, he's not going to find it. He's going to end up taking a lesser deal. And, there's only a handful of guys, as we were talking about, that have successfully played cornerback later into their careers. And then eventually they switch to safety, because you lack that speed and explosiveness to keep up with wide receivers on defense. And then you need to become a ball hawk. You need to become Charles Woodson. You need to become Darrell Green. You need to become, you know what I mean? You become a safety and then extend your career out. Well, nobody's paying $10 million a year for that. So Logan Ryan's going to probably take a prove it deal somewhere. Should we be in the market for him? Absolutely. He's a great player. Should we be in the market for him at $10 million a year? Hell no. Like 6, 7, sure. Then sign us up. But that kind of a contract for that player at that stage of his career, as Kyle Brandt, famously says on Good Morning Football all the time, your contract is not a reward for games played. It's an investment in the future games played. So no one's paying Logan Ryan for what he did last year. It's all about paying Logan Ryan for what he's going to do for the next 3 or 4 years. And that's not $10 million a year. So should we be in the market? Yes, but it certainly has to be at the right price. And I think that's why you hadn't heard Mayock or anybody else talk about him. All right. Will anyone in the media admit that the Raiders got the better of the Mac Cooper trades? Thank you. Don't hold your breath with this one. I won't. And I kind of hit on it already. We from day one, yelled that from the rooftop, that when you look at the amount of, it wasn't just the fact that the Raiders acquired draft equity. That's obviously the most easily gone to portion of this, because you look at what we exchanged for Mac, and now it's all been fleshed out for the players that we've gotten out of that draft from the Bears. But then the Bears had to turn right around and pay him this massive contract. So when you talk about the opportunity cost of that and what you've sacrificed in terms of being able to sign future players because you got all your money tied up in one guy, it just didn't make sense. It just, when you look at it from a business perspective, it made sense from day one to me why they didn't sign Khalil Mack. So anybody that's still hating on that, again, and I'm not going to rehash it all over again, but when you look at the terms of the contract, you look at the exchange of value, absolutely the Raiders won that thing, not only from day one, but absolutely as far as to now. All right, last up, he says, can Will Compton finally admit he's desperate to go live on RFR, if only to stop the likes of me harassing him on a daily basis until he says yes? So Paul, Ramon, Swaggo, Mojo, so many of you are taking runs at Will Compton in a really friendly way. Even Cody's getting in on it in a really friendly way on Twitter. And at this point, I almost feel like I don't want to have Will on the show, only because it's more fun to have this running bit. Like, he can join the ranks of that guy that was in that Castaway movie in terms of like players that we will no longer, or people that we will no longer name on this show. It's been an absolute blast watching you guys take a run at Compton on Twitter. It's so funny. And so, and Ramon right now is on this run where he's sent, because Will ghosted us after twice committing to our show. He's ghosted us. And so now he's posting up like memes of Will's face on different, celebrity and movie, screenshots that have to do with ghosts. And it's like ghosting with the boys. And it's like, things from the movie Ghost or Ghostbusters or what. It's freaking hilarious, man. I love it. So I keep it going. And there's even a big part of me that if at some point Will ever answers back, and he's answered us yes a couple times on Twitter, but again, never showed up. But like at some point that he says like, okay, I'm ready to go, just let me know when. There's a big part of me that's tempted to just go, nah, we're not interested. All right. So Paul goes on to say, love and best wishes to the RFR family. Stay safe, everybody. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Polly Award winner 2019, BRT Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, and five-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler Award. All right, so you got enough time to think about it there. We're getting ready to get into our voicemails. Again, that number is 909-345-3346. At the top of this segment, we always handle the capo first because he's the man. He is the crew, the leader of this crew, of this RFR made man, made women crew. And so we're going to hear from Capo first. But as soon as we get done with Capo's call, if you want to get in here, you want to get on live, on RFR Live and talk to me and the rest of Raider Nation listening, then definitely get that call in. But again, first, let's go to the Capo. He is Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider.
Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere Moss on the Boss Sonny, Sergeant at Arms, the Sizzler, Big Raider Trucker, Mojo from the Pod Show, Raider Ramon, Swag Jeff, Nation. First respect to NFL coaching legend Don Shula, who passed away Monday at the tender age of 90. Respect. Everybody wants to come out of the woodwork and give their draft grades, so I'm going to grade the grades. Bleacher Report had Alex Ballentine giving the Raiders a C-. CBS Sports, Pete Prisco, gave us a B. Pro Football Focus gave us a C. Sports Illustrated, Andy Benoit gave us a C+. Like the plus makes a difference. Yahoo Sports, Eric Edom gave us a C. And my man, Mel Kiper, he gave us a B. Nice hair, baby. USA Today, Nate Davis gave us a C. The Athletic, Dane Brugler gave us a 19 out of 32. So I guess we're in the lower echelon. Oh, the Athletic, they're too smart for their own good. Established the Run, Evan Silva gave us a C+. Sporting News, Vinny Iyer gave us a C-. Once again, like the minus matters. Look, all your takes suck because you probably had us getting a C- or a C last season. How'd that turn out for you? Condor fly, baby. Fly over and drop that poop bomb on them. Splash, who cares? Now, the Raiders also added 4 undrafted free agents. Tight end Nick Bowers, cornerback Madre, and I guess that doesn't mean mother in Spanish, Harper, long snapper Liam McCollum, linebackers Javen White, and they also are expected to announce some more undrafted free agents soon. The hit list, tight end Paul Butler, linebacker Tavon Coney, defensive end Kendall Donison, quarterback Deshaun Kaiser. Yeah, that experiment's over. Offensive lineman Kyle Callis and linebacker Quentin Poland. This goes out to the made men. Man, these are some dog days. And how about my new logo? Shout out and double respect to Mojo on his pod show.
Love it.
Rue.
Love it. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider bringing it. Now, he's not eligible for a Sizzler Award, but man, that was good. That was a good call, Aaron. They're always good, but that was that's Aaron in top form right there. So appreciate him. And a lot of stuff in the chat there about Don Shula. I'm gonna read you a couple quotes. Watts Raider in there says Don Shula greatest of all time, and then he says if you take out Super Bowls, but you know what though? Like, is it though? And now I know that he doesn't have the winning percentage that someone like Belichick does. But there's only one head coach in the history of the league that's appeared in as many Super Bowls as Belichick, and that is Don Shula. So, I mean, and taking 2 organizations to it, like, I mean, you got to give him a lot of love there, a lot of respect. So, absolutely great call. And we're going to hear from the historian here in a little bit about Don Shula as well. But to make it, bring it to the Raiders, statements from the Raider greats, from the Raiders Hall of Fame and should be in the Hall of Fame head coaches. One from Tom Flores. Don was the ultimate competitor. He lived his life as he played and coached with pride, dignity, tenacity, loyalty. History will share his legacy forever. Absolutely. Shula was one of the absolute all-time greats. And then, so our Hall of Famer, Coach Madden, and we don't hear from Coach Madden much anymore. I think a lot about him, as a fan, like he's getting older, and I don't know how there's different things out there about his health and whatnot. So absolutely prayers up to Coach and wish him the best. And I wish we could see more of him, but we just don't see and hear from him a lot. But anyways, in this case, he came out because, close confidant, not confidant necessarily, but definitely a competitor and longtime history with Coach Shula. And so anyways, Madden says, besides being a competitor of mine, Don was a really good friend, mentor. Oh, look at, I corrected myself and I shouldn't have. Don was a really good friend, mentor, and confidant who gave more to the game than he took from it. He was a member of the competition committee for years, and this was something he believed in. He always wanted to make the game better because he cared so much. Don Shula was a great man and a great friend. So anyways, so good stuff there from our two coaches on the legendary Coach Shula. So appreciate that, and appreciate Aaron bringing it up there. And we'll probably talk some more about that tomorrow on the rundown. All right. If you want to get a call in, call us. Call me. 909-345-3346. Let's hear you. I've got a couple more voicemails to play, but I'll go ahead and take a call if someone wants to jump in here. 909-345-3346. Don't be shy. Go ahead and give the number a ring, and we'll get your call on here live. I saw Mojo was doing this the other night, and then when I knew that we were going to be doing a podcast selfie, I thought, well, that might be kind of fun to take a call live. That's where the Mangus brothers were on his show live, and that was really fun. So I see all these people in the chat, man. Raider Ramon, Aaron, Rico, John Q, Raider Flash, Watts Raider, Miguel Ruiz, ta-da, Raider is in there. So many of you. Pete M is in there. I can't scroll up, but definitely get a call in here. I'm going to go ahead and play a voicemail then, since we got nobody jumping on the line right away. And let's hear from our buddy, Houston Raider Steve.
Hey, everybody. This is Houston Raider Steve. Hey, I was going to say, when I listen to Raider Board Rico, you sound like Rico Suave. I'm scared because my landlord, the cats and everything, they start purring really loud and they start rubbing up against me. And they're male cats. It's freaking me out, man. Anyway, my story is Don Shula passed away today. He's from Ohio like I am. I was a big fan of his and everything. Greatest coach of all time wins. I was down in Miami back in late 80s with my girlfriend, Chris.
All right, here we go. We got a call coming in. I'm going to pause Steve there.
Call from Ron Stratton. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's up, Ron?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
We'll try it again. How about now? Ron the Materator, we got you?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, Ron? How are you, buddy?
I'm living the dream, man. Sitting out on the back deck.
Appreciate you calling in, man, and checking in. You're doing you got double duty going on here. You're multitasking.
Yeah.
You're running the chat and you're calling in live to the show.
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome, man. So what do you got, dude? What do you think of this draft?
Oh, here's the thing I haven't heard anybody say, but I've been really thinking about it. Mayock seems to have a plan, and I think last year we ran out of depth real fast, and I think that's a big reason we tailed off at the end of the season there. And I think drafting guys like Tanner Muse and Bowden gives us some flexibility. So I think, those picks got criticized a lot because they're like, well, you can't use this guy at this position right now. I think you can use those guys in so many positions that, if somebody goes down, they can step in somewhere. And I think that's where their value lies. So I thought that was pretty smart by Mayock.
Yeah, the old adage goes that you draft your superstars in the first round or two, and then you build your team and the rest of them, right? And so I feel that way too, man. Like, I was talking about versatility earlier, but yeah, the depth is really key, and especially like, like the draft of John Simpson in the 4th round. I got a quote here from Jim Nagy, who's the guy that like coordinates the Senior Bowl. He's like the executive director. And he talked about Simpson and said, Simpson is the best Clemson offensive line prospect in the past 2 decades. He's big, strong, dependable, high character guy, tons of ball for the Tigers, gives him a good number 3 guard next year, and eventual long-term starter if Incognito or Jackson aren't there. And that fits right in with exactly what you're saying, right? Isn't it, Ron? Like, there's depth now.
Right, yeah. And one of the other things, it's not my thought, but I thought it was, a really good point. I think it was the Pillaging podcast, actually. Someone brought up the point. We're getting our roster to the point where the bottom of our roster isn't really guys that should be in the NFL. The bottom of our roster is developmental guys, and that's what you want when you're building a solid team. So I think, we're starting to see the vision come through here. It's been a long time, but it's starting to come through, I think.
That's a great point, man. Yeah, and shout out those pillaging guys, man. Good friends of ours, Kenny and Che, Bobby Wasabi, Kane, like great dudes over there, man. And that's an awesome point because, yeah, it did feel like that. It felt like some of the bottom end of our roster at times. It was like, ugh, like these, like when these guys, when they stop being Raiders, they stop being football players, right?
Correct. Yeah. And then another thing, as far as the value, I think a lot of guys are banging on us on value. But I think if you said we're going to redraft the 2000 draft and only you know what's right now, how many guys would take Tom Brady before the 6th round? All of them. So Mayock's trusting these guys and his evaluations, and if that's he values them, that's where he values them. Until he blows the draft, then I'm going to stick behind him.
That's a great point, man. He's given absolutely no inkling to us to have any doubt, man. Everything that he's done so far. And I know people like, even Aaron, are still out on Farrell, but
F to the E to the R to the R to the E to the L to the L. It ain't Farrell.
I know that, but listen, but there's still time on that one. Right. So I absolutely, I agree with you, man. And Aaron in the chat right now just said much respect to Ron from Alliance, and appreciate you, Ron, man. Dude, you were one of the first made men, one of the first callers to the show, and like one of the first times we tried taking live calls, and boom, you're right here to support us, man. And thank you very much for doing this.
Heck yeah, I appreciate you taking my call, and thanks for all you guys do. Appreciate the entertainment. And nice source of Raiders info.
Absolutely, brother. We appreciate you. Well, and as they're saying in the chat, they're going to run amok, so you better get back in there. Be able to handle some business.
Better go boot some people, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, drop the band hammer on them, dude. Don't be shy.
All right.
Ron, appreciate you, brother.
Yep, bye.
All right, see you, bye. All right, there's Ron from Alliance, man, one of the early made men around here. And he runs our chat for us each and every week, and cannot give him enough respect and appreciation for him for not only his support of our show, but for jumping in the chat and moderating it each and every week, man, like clockwork. So thank you, Ron. All right, we probably got time for one more. I'm going to get back to Steve's call here, but if we want to do one more live call, just go ahead and jump in there as Houston Raider Steve is telling us about Don Shula.
Ladies with my girlfriend Chrissy Ferraccio from Philly, South Philly. We went to headquarters, and all of a sudden, she wanted to meet Marino, so all of a sudden, Coach Schuler's walking down the hall. Brian Soche's walking down the hall, too. So we asked Coach, can we get a picture with you, the old Polaroid type? So he asked Brian and everything, and the camera jams, and here I am standing with legendary Coach Schuler and Chrissy and everything. We finally get a picture with him, and he was really cool about it all, and I thought, man, that's really awesome. He could have just blown us off and just, not even given us eye contact or spent the time, but the fact that he spent spent 5-10 minutes of his time just to get a picture with two fans that were big fans of his. So rest in peace, Coach. Rest in peace, Coach Shula. God bless, brother. That's my Raider story of the day. I know it's not Raiders, but he's a legendary coach. Bye.
All right, we appreciate you, Houston Raider Steve. And yeah, man, we're of course we're diehard Raider fans, obviously, but we are football fans as well. And so anytime you want to bring the knowledge, then love to hear it, especially firsthand accounts like that, man. So here we go. We got another one. Let's grab this one here. Let's see. Looks like we got a caller from the 916.
Call from.
Solid.
To accept, press 1.
All right, caller in the 916. Go ahead.
Hey, so this is Ty the Raider.
Ta-da, Raider. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Well, it's not you guys tonight. It's just me.
You. You. The lone wolf in there.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. So I've actually got you on the rundown sheet. I was going to play your voicemail next, but much better to hear from you in person, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, as I was calling, I was like, what am I going to call about? I couldn't think of anything, but I thought I'd just say what's up to you anyway.
Hey, man. Well, I love it. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support that you give us here, man. Raiders Fan Radio, Murph's Fan Cave. I know you're always active in the chat, and you got a voicemail in this week, and you've emailed us before, and so we appreciate you. So I'll tell you what, man. While I've got you live, when we get off the phone, I'm going to play your voicemail still, but let me tell you live, and everybody listening and in the chat. Dude, you're gonna be a made man after this.
I was made. I want to I forgot which one. I think it was a few weeks ago.
Okay. Well,
I believe.
All right. I was wondering about that because I looked on the rundown sheet and your name wasn't on it. And I was going to give out that disclaimer when I played it. I was going to say, all right, I don't remember Ta-Da Raider not getting made, but for some reason he wasn't on the sheet. So we did make you fair and square then, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate it. I think it was a little more.
We might get made twice.
Hey, is that a first?
Yes, because I have an awful memory. Because I'm always like, what the heck? And I went back and I looked at the sheet. I'm like, all right, Ty is not on there. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I can't believe that we missed making him. And then I'm like, he's always in the chat. He's sending voicemails. He's doing emails. I'm like, we had to have made him, but your name wasn't there, so I was going to respect it anyways and play it for you. So we might play your music again. Heck, you called live, so that counts for something, right?
Oh yeah. I celebrated with some cannolis. I'm still pretty stuffed, So, it's the best of both worlds. I can't complain.
Awesome, man. Right on. Well, hey, while we got you, man, how about what do you think about the draft, man? Who's your favorite pick?
Tanner Muse.
Oh, nice. Why?
I'm a defensive junkie, and I just like what he can do, cover the field. And I think it's a little sneaky. I think he's kind of underestimated. He's going to do some good things.
Yeah, I think it's cool. What do you think about him wearing 55?
Say that again?
What do you think about him wearing the number 55, man? The last time we saw that was like, I know we've had a couple different players wear it, but like high profile was like Rolando McClain, but then like the legacy of Matt Millen wearing 55, like to me, that's a cool number, right?
Yeah, even with that Rolando McClain one, that's kind of that brings you back some dark memories right there.
I know that's up there with Jamarcus almost, man. It's close.
Well, he's looking at me now.
He's like our defensive Jamarcus. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Well, we should have drafted him anyway. Yeah, he didn't want to go there. So.
That's right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you calling in, and I'm still going to play your voicemail. Congratulations on being a made man, and thank you again, man, for supporting Raiders Fan Radio the way that you do. We appreciate you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh, and before everyone still has a call, please let me know so I can get my wife out the room.
Yeah, I don't have a call from Rico tonight, so he's in the chat. So just tell your wife not to read the chat, and then she should be safe.
Okay, all right, babe, you can come back.
Awesome, brother. We appreciate you, man. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, bro. You too. We'll see. All right, there he is, Ty. Ta-da, Raider. So that was timely, man, because I couldn't remember, man. I'm looking at the sheet and I just didn't see his name on there, so I was gonna make him here on the show. So he's gonna be made twice. That's awesome. So I'm gonna put a couple check marks next to his name here for that. So let's listen to his voicemail and then we'll get into it.
Yo, what's up, Murph, Swaggy, and the one and only Uncle Mosh. This is Ty the Raider. I'm coming to you today as a phone call. Usually I know I do the email. I sent the email for the rounds, for the first round, day one. So I'm going to just go ahead and say about the other picks. I'm fired up. I don't know about you guys. I'm fired up. Everybody over there bitching and complaining about all the picks that we got, but let's be honest. Nobody's an expert. You can complain of it. This isn't your job. You know what? I can complain. I can say, oh, yeah, I had this guy going, I had this guy going. But you know what? I'm a security guard. I don't work in the NFL, so that is not my job. All I can say is I'm fired up. I am ready. You know, I can't wait for this going forward. Hopefully everything opens up on time so we can go ahead and go. So everybody else who's down there, let them go. You know, they can go ahead and, go to Denver or, be with the Queefs or, whatever it is. So I just wanted to state how fired up I am. You guys hear that? Oh, because we got some dogs. Taylor Muse,
come on.
Dogs. I know one thing, Tyrell Williams, he in the hot seat. And everybody who's kind of worried about Gabe Jackson has his job, but we do need backup and versatility on that O-line. I like that pick, so even if he does step up and pick up, no, he's out of there. But you know what? I'm going to just let everybody be. Everybody have their thoughts. And I'm just going to get ready for this draft. It's me, Ty Raider, signing out. Fired up.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. it's almost equal to family. Be loyal, made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
All right, I know he was already made, but I just like hearing that music, man. I like hearing Mosh's voice over there. It's awesome. So anyway, so I got him added to the list now, and man, it wouldn't be the first time I've messed up on the list. But let me read it, man, because it's really cool. I love hearing all the different places that people represent. And so we got Jimmy Zebach, no particular order, roughly in an order, but not in any particular order of getting made. Jimmy Zebach, Hardcore Raider, Johnny in San Diego, Chuck Splatterhead McCann, Ron in Alliance, Alaska Raider, Dakota Raider, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Red in Yakima, Jim from the East Coast, Yayo in Jersey, Big Raider Trucker, Wyoming Raider, Diego in Georgia, Running Bear in Tulare, Mojo Raider, Junior in San Diego, Beto in, you know the city. Beto, where you been, man? We ain't heard from Beto in a minute. James in Arkansas, Monster Mash Ken, Raider Rue in Utah, Ev Dog, Houston Raider Steve, Jesse in Kentucky, B Dog in a pasture in Texas, Max in San Diego, Rev Raider, Raider Juan, Eye Patch, Alex in Tucson, Ruben in Vegas, Dave in the 330, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Paul in Shropshire, Mississippi, UK, 24 Karat Kev, the cool ass Raider, One Nation Jeff, Chucktown Raider, Haley in Scotland, All Hail the Queen, Lino, the Full Metal Mexican, Central Valley Raider, RBK Raider, Coach Davis, another one. Where you been, Coach? Raider Ramon, Raider Born Rico, Raider Trucker Dan, Sugar Shane, Super Deuce, Daniel Mangus, Just Win Johnny, Matthew Mangus, Pirate 1975, JC Raider, Fabricator Gil in the IE, Big Mike, and most recently, ta-da! Raider. We appreciate each and every one of you and the way that you contribute and support us here at Raiders Fan Radio. And without the made men, man, it's just it's not nearly as fun. And you guys are amazing. And thank you for all the support each and every week. I want to shout out the chat also. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider is in there. Raider Flash, Raider Ramon, John Q, Watts Raider, Miguel Ruiz, Raider Flash, Tyrone Graves, Stacy Ruff. Appreciate Ron, of course, the Mater Raider. Appreciate all of you supporting Raiders Fan Radio and Damage Inc. Raider Nation Scotland. What's up? We appreciate you being in there. And so every week we award a Sizzler to the best email or phone call. And man, I got a lot of attention to this guy tonight. I got to give it to Ty Ta-da Raider because he brought it, man. He's right. The Raiders drafted a bunch of dogs, and he was howling about them on the show.
I am the Sizzler.
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 We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Appreciate all of you joining us as in the chat tonight. Appreciate all of you joining us live on youtube.com/Murphs Fan Cave. You can check us out each and every week on Wednesday nights. Normally, I don't do this by myself. My name is Murph. You have a co-host, Uncle Mosh, the great Uncle Mosh, and my best friend, Swag Jeff. And we do this thing every Wednesday night. We're going to switch to our off-season schedule going forward. So we're going to be off next week, but we will be back every other week for RFR Live as we go through the off-season. But we're going to have a lot of content every week. Swag and I are recording the RFR Rundown where we dig into the Raiders stories of the week. So you're going to find that on your feed, on your Murph's Fan Cave audio podcast feed this week. Plus, also, we're going to do an episode of Tales from the Nation. We're going to talk about the Raiders draft. We're going to talk about the greatest Raiders to ever be drafted. Gene Upshaw, Cliff Branch, Kenny Stabler. It's going to be a really cool show. So go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear. Buy something on there from the Fanatics website. Please support us that way so we can continue to support the Stabler XOXO Foundation, an amazing foundation that provides research and awareness and prevention of head injuries in all sports from youth all the way on up. So thank you again. Thank you, Watts Raider, Raider Flash, John Q, Stacy Ruff, Raider Ramon, Fierce Raider, Kill Jadus, John Q, everybody. Title Raider in the chat tonight. Congratulations on the Sizzler and getting made twice. That's interesting. But I appreciate you, man, and look forward to this offseason. Raider Nation, man. Keep going at Will Compton. Keep running it in for us, man. That's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle says, way to hold it down, Murph. Thank you. I'm not a huge fan of the podcast selfie, but thank you, folks like you that give this show all the support, make it worthwhile, and glad to do it. So thank you again, and everybody have a good night, and we will see you next time. And just remember, what happened in Vegas started in Oakland. Have a good night, and God bless.
You guys hear that? Oh, because we got some dogs.